Hello dear students, today we are going to start new chapter, that is chapter number 4, and the chapter name is, as you can see on the board, magnetic effect of current. Basically in this chapter we will talk about how the magnetic, all we have studied also in class 10, that when a current is flowing through a wire, then we found a magnetic field around the wire. So that very thing is called magnetic effect of current. Basically in this chapter we will study about how to calculate the strength of that magnetic field. We will study about methods to calculate that magnetic field. In that we will study about Biot-Savart law, Ampere's circuit law. Okay, and then we will try to find out that when a current carrying wire is kept in a magnetic field, then what happens. Although you have studied all these things in class 10th but not in detail, in class 12th we are going to study it in detail. Okay, the very first thing we will study about the same, what is magnetic effect of current. Magnetic effect of current. Magnetic effect of current. What is that? The very first experiment we studied is Oersted experiment. He observed that, suppose a wire is there, okay, a current carrying wire is there, this cell is of B, basically the current is flowing from this to this. This whole setup is kept on a horizontal plane, and the horizontal plane is like east, west, north, south. Okay, these whole things are kept in horizontal plane. So now how the current is moving through the wire? Current is moving like this. Current is moving like this. Okay. Now just try to understand what Oersted found out. When we move a magnetic compass. What is a magnetic compass? Magnetic compass is a magnetic needle. Okay. Magnetic compass is a magnetic needle, and we know the property of magnets that it always stays in the direction of north and south. The arrow is always in north direction and the tail of that magnetic needle is in south direction. So when this magnetic compass is placed nearby the wire, what we observe that this magnetic compass shows a deflection. When we put this magnetic compass over the wire, what we see that magnetic compass is showing a deflection. It simply means that there must be a magnetic field which produces a deflection in the magnetic compass. Oersted, after doing a lot of experiment, he gives us Snow rule. You must have studied in class 10th. Snow rule. What is the Snow rule? The Snow rule says that when a current is flowing from south to north, when a current is flowing from south to north and a magnetic compass is placed over the wire, then what we observe? Then deflection in the compass is in west direction, right? When a current is flowing from south to north, this S, this represents south, this represents south, okay, that represents south to north, and represents north, okay, and a magnetic compass is placed over the wire. This O is for over. Okay, over the wire means magnetic compass is placed somewhere here. Wire is below the magnetic compass. Then what we observe? We observe that the deflection in the compass is in towards west direction. So this is what the Snow rule is. Snow rule. Okay. So Oersted gives us direction of magnetic field, but he did not tell about the magnitude of the magnetic field. What do we mean when we say magnitude? Magnitude is simply what is the strength of magnetic field. As we have studied electric field, in the same manner magnetic field is also there. So what is the amount of magnetic field is acting over here or at a distance from the wire? An expression was not given by Oersted, but it was given by a group of scientists, basically a pair of scientists. There were two scientists. One was Bayer and another was Sievert. So next thing we are going to study is Bayer-Sievert law. This law tells us about what is the amount of magnetic field acting around a wire. Magnetic field as well as its direction also. Magnetic field as well as its direction also. So let us study what is Bayer-Sievert law. Suppose a wire is there. This is a section of wire, and current flowing through the wire is in this direction. Okay. What we say, if we take a small length element in this wire and let that length element be dl. Let that length element be dl. So because of dl, at a distance r from it, if we take a point and let that point be, if we take a point, say point P, okay, let this be also vector, with reference to dl we define r, okay. Then what is the amount of magnetic field over here? Let this angle be theta. So according to Bayer-Sievert, the magnetic field is represented by dB. Okay, B is basically, but the magnetic field is very small, and that's why we are representing it dB. So the magnetic field acting at P, let me write the language. The magnetic field acting at P is dB, and it is proportional to dl. Let us start with current. It is proportional to current. What is the current flowing through the wire? Next, that dB is proportional to dl, the length element. What is that length element? Length of length element basically. And dB is proportional to sine theta. Okay, theta. Sine theta. Theta is the angle made between dl and r. And dB is inversely proportional to square of the distance of the point from the length element, that is a r square. So when we combine whole of this, what we are going to have? We are going to have dB is proportional to ideal sine theta upon r square. Now if we remove that proportionality sign, we are going to have what? We are going to have mu naught upon 4 pi ideal sine theta upon r square. This is the magnitude of magnetic field. Here we have used a new constant, and that constant is mu naught. What is that mu naught? Mu naught is called permeability of free space. Permeability of free space, and its value is 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7. What will be its unit? Here r square is meter square, ampere is, I is ampere, dl is meter. 1 meter will cancel 1 meter. dB is Tesla. the unit of magnetic field is Tesla. We'll discuss it about later on. Okay, in the chapter number 5, we'll define in that what is the magnitude of 1 Tesla. Also, we'll define 1 Tesla in this chapter also, but later on. Here you have to say that the unit of magnetic field is assumed to be Tesla. So Tesla meter per ampere. So its unit is Tesla meter per ampere. Okay, 1 meter is cancelled out over here. So 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7 Tesla meter per ampere. This is the unit of, this is the value of mu naught for free space. For if this wire is kept in a medium, then we have to take permeability of that medium. For that we define relative permeability, but it will be defined after some time in the chapter number 5 when we study magnetism. Okay, so the value of mu naught is 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7 Tesla meter per ampere. So this is Biot-Savart law. But that Biot-Savart law can also be represented in terms of vectors. In terms of vector. How it can be? If we multiply by R in the numerator and denominator, then what we get? We get dB is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi into ideal R sin theta upon R cube. Now dl R sin theta, we can write dB vector is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I dl vector cross R vector upon R cube. This is the vector form of Biot-Savart law. This is the vector form of Biot-Savart law. And from this vector form, we can determine the direction of magnetic field. But for that, you need to understand how to apply that cross product rule. Okay? For cross product rule, in class 11th you must have studied. Let me remove all this. If vector A is somewhere in this direction, vector B is in somewhere in this direction, and we know two direction of vector A and vector A cross vector B. It is obviously, let's C vector. So what is the direction of C vector, which is equal to the cross product of vector A and vector B? The cross product rule says, first of all, you arrange your fingers of right hand in the direction of first vector, and then you have to fold your fingers towards the second vector. The extended thumb will tell the direction of cross product. So here the direction of A vector is this way, direction of B vector is this way. The extended thumb is towards yourself, perpendicular outward of the board. The direction of C vector will be perpendicular outward. If you apply the same logic here, dl vector cross R vector. So dl vector is in this direction, R vector is in this direction. The direction of extended thumb is towards inward. Okay, you are not able to see my thumb, but it is there. dl is in this direction, R is in this direction. So what will be the direction of extended thumb? Perpendicular inward. So here the direction of magnetic field will be perpendicular inward. Right? Perpendicular inward magnetic field is represented by cross. So basically, when we represent a magnetic field, we put a cross sign over there. Okay? We put a cross sign over there. Let me present it in a correct way. So this is the magnetic field over here. So magnetic field is represented in crossed field. Okay, if it is perpendicular outward, then it is represented by dot in this manner. But it is perpendicular inward, we represent it by cross. Is it clear? Suppose if here I want to know magnetic field, then the direction of dl R will be in this, dl will remain same. Again, dl in this direction, R in this direction. Magnetic field is perpendicular inward. If at this point magnetic field I want to know, then R will be in this direction. Okay. Now dl is in this direction. Now fingers cannot be folded like this. Okay. So what we do? We go here. dl in this direction, R is in this direction, extended thumb is perpendicular outward. So here the magnetic field will be perpendicular outward. Is it clear? One more rule is there. You can apply it for yourself. Okay, this rule is the easier one. One more rule is there, as I was telling, it is the easier one. The thumb you have to tell, the thumb you have to indicate towards the current, and these fingers towards the point where the magnetic field is to be calculated. Thumb is there towards the current, and this finger towards this point where the palm face is indicating inward. Inward, the magnetic field will be inward direction. For this point, thumb is outward, thumb is in the direction of current. All these fingers will be towards the point where the magnetic field is to be calculated. So it will be going perpendicular outward. So here the direction of magnetic field will be perpendicular outward. Is it clear? So this is how we calculate the direction of magnetic field. Okay, two rules I have told. You can apply with a cross product rule. You can apply with a right hand thumb rule. Okay. Right hand thumb rule also you have studied in class 10. Extend the thumb towards the current and curl your fingers around the wire. Okay. So here the direction of field will be towards inward. Here it will be towards outward. Are you able to understand? If you curl your finger around the wire, then here it will be inward and here it will be outward. Is it clear? So this is how you can calculate the magnetic direction of magnetic field. But for the magnitude you can go for this one. BB is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi ideal sin theta upon r square. Okay. Now let us move ahead and let us learn to apply Biot-Savart law. Let us learn to apply Biot-Savart law. Let us do some practice. Suppose a wire is going this way, current is I. Then try to find what is the direction of magnetic field at the point A and what is the direction of magnetic field at the point B. Okay, give it a try. Direction of current is towards this side. If we want to calculate the magnetic field towards B, all these fingers will be towards B only. Where is the palm face? Outward. Here the magnetic field will be outward. And here direction of current is towards this way. But we have to find magnetic field downward. So we have to keep our hand like this. Magnetic field this way, current this way, and all the points towards downward. So is the magnetic field inward. Okay. So here the direction of magnetic field is inward. Suppose the current is going in this manner. This is your current I. I have made cross. What does it mean? It means that the current is going perpendicular inward. The current is going perpendicular inward. A wire is there, and through that wire, current is going perpendicular inward. If I want to know what is the magnetic field at this point, then thumb you have to keep towards the current. All these fingers towards the point at which the magnetic field is to be determined. Where is the palm face indicating? Downward. Here the magnetic field will be towards down. Means magnetic field will be downwards. Here it will be. Just give the try. Thumb towards this side, fingers towards this side, palm face is indicating that side. The magnetic field will be towards this side. Here it will be this side. Here it will be this side. Okay. So you have to calculate. You need to know how the direction of magnetic field is to be determined. Okay. Because from Biot-Savart law, if you use the expression, you'll only come to know what is the strength of magnetic field, value of V, but the direction you have to determine by yourself. Okay, let us start. Application of Biot-Savart law. Application of Biot-Savart law. Application of Biot-Savart law. Okay. For this, the first application is the magnetic field due to a straight wire, obviously current carrying wire. Okay, magnetic field due to a straight current carrying wire. So let this be the current carrying wire, which is a straight. Okay, and the current flowing through the wire is capital I. Okay, from the wire at a distance A, we have to find what is the magnetic field. How we can? What we'll do, we'll take a current element over here. This direction of current element is always in the direction of current. Current is flowing this way, the element will be towards this way only. So let this element be dl and let this point be O. From O, let this dl be at a distance L. This L is variable for the length of the wire. Now from dl, let this point be at a distance R. Okay, as this angle dl and this angle is theta. Okay, this very angle is theta, right? Now, according to Biot-Savart law, magnetic field due to dl, dB is given by what? Mu naught upon 4 pi ideal sin theta upon r square. This expression is need to be integrated for the complete length of the wire. Okay, but before doing that, we must understand that magnetic field is a vector quantity. This dB is a vector quantity. We must assure that there is no difference in the direction of magnetic field due to different positions of dl. Like dl is here, what is the direction of magnetic field at this point? The direction of dl, the direction of current is towards this way. All these fingers towards the point. What is the direction of magnetic field? Perpendicular inward. Magnetic field inward. Suppose dl is somewhere here, then inward. Somewhere here, inward. Irrespective of position of dl, the magnetic field is always inward. The magnetic field is always inward. So at this point, the magnetic field is always inward, cross. Is it clear? Now we can integrate dB, because for each position of dl over the complete length of the wire, the magnetic field is inward only. But there is another problem. Problem is, with the change in position of dl, when the dl is changed, then what will happen? R will be changed, this distance of the point from the dl. If dl is somewhere here, the distance will be this. If dl is here, distance will be this. R will be changing. If position of dl changes, then L also changes. If position of dl changes, then theta also changes. See this angle. If somewhere here, then theta will be different. So what we need to do, we need to change this r, dl and theta in terms of a common variable. And let us take that common variable as phi, this angle. Okay, let this be your question number 1. Now just see, if you can see this right angle triangle from figure, if you can take this theta and phi, so theta plus phi must be equal to pi by 2, because one angle is already 90 degree. Sum of all these three must be 180. One angle is already 90 degree. So sum of these two angles must be 90. From here what we can say? We can say that theta is equal to pi by 2 minus phi. or we can apply sine over here. Sine theta is equal to sine pi by 2 minus pi. Sine 90 minus theta is equal to cos theta. So sine theta will be replaced by cos theta. Let this be question number 2. Sine theta will be replaced by cos theta. Okay. Another replacements. Sine theta done. Now come to R. From the figure, if you can take A upon L. A upon L. First of all, let us solve for R. If we take cos phi, what it will be? For the phi, A is base, R is hypotenuse, it will be A upon R. From here, if R need to be calculated, it is A upon cos phi, or it can be written as A sec phi. Let this be question number 3. Okay. Now R is also done. Now come to dA. Also A upon L, not A upon L. Let us take L upon L, or let us take tan phi. So tan phi is equal to what? L upon A, or L will be equal to A tan phi. If we differentiate it, we will get dl is equal to A sec square phi d phi. This is equation number 4. So now what we have? We have the values of R, we have the value of dl, we have the value of sin theta. Let us put all these in equation number 1. From 1, 2, 3 and 4. dV is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi will remain like this only. There is no change in the I. In place of dl we need to put A sec square phi d phi. In place of sin theta we need to put cos phi upon, in place of r square we need to put, there is the value of r here, r is equal to A sec phi. It will become A square sec square phi. Now this sec square phi will be cancelled, A and A will be cancelled. So dV will be equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I, sec square phi is cancelled, cos phi d phi upon A. This will be left. Okay. Now we have to integrate this equation. This equation is variable in phi only because A is fixed. Okay. Now try to understand what will be the limits. For limits, let this point of the wire, lowermost point, and let this point be the uppermost point of the wire. So this angle, let us take at minus phi 1, and this angle phi 2. Why I am taking it minus phi 1? Because just see at this, if you see it as a axis of reference, then you are moving anti-clockwise for minus phi 1 and you are moving clockwise for phi 2. So any of these angle must be negative. So I am going downward from here, that's why I have taken it minus phi 1. Right? This will be integrated by taking limits from minus phi 1 to phi 2. So what we will say? Now I have to remove this. Now I will say that total magnetic field at point P, let this point be P, is B is equal to integration of dV is equal to integration mu naught upon 4 pi I cos phi d phi upon A. Limit minus phi 1 से phi 2 तक. Okay. Now B will be equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I upon A. All these are constant. they'll be out of the integration. When the cos phi will be integrated, we'll get sin phi from minus phi 1 to phi 2. Okay. Now b will be equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I upon a. When we put the limit, it will become sin phi 2 minus sin minus phi 1. When this minus comes out, it will become b is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I upon a sin phi 2 plus sin phi 1. So this is the formula for magnetic field due to a straight wire at a distance a from it. Okay. There are some special cases also. The special case is if this wire is of infinite length, if the wire is of infinite length, in that case phi 1 is equal to phi 2 will be equal to pi by 2. Okay, if the wire goes at infinity from this side also, from this side also, this angle keeps on increasing. When this end of the wire goes down, suppose it is here, then the angle is increasing. Okay, earlier phi 2 was like this, now it is increased. When this wire goes to infinity, then what will happen? Angle becomes pi by 2. Sin pi by 2, sin pi by 2, value of sin pi by 2 1, value of sin pi by 2 1, 1 plus 1 2, 2 will cut this 4. What we'll have? We'll have b is equal to mu naught I upon 2 pi a. Mu naught I upon 2 pi a. This is the magnetic field around an infinite wire. Okay. Case number 2 is wire is of infinite wire is of infinite length, and the point is nearby one end. What I am saying is, just try to understand, wire is of infinite length and wire point is somewhere here, nearby one end. Then what will happen? In that case we will get only one angle, and that angle will be infinity. So in that case, if phi 1 is in pi by 2, sorry, that angle is pi by 2, and phi 2 will be 0 because there is no angle upward. So if you put over there, phi 2 is 0, sin 0 is 0, sin phi 1 is 1, then in that case b will be equal to what? Mu naught I upon 4 pi a. It will left like this only. If only one we get from the bracket, one is multiplied, the thing will remain same. And the last case is, let me remove this diagram only. Case number 3. Wire is of finite length. Wire is of finite length and the point is on perpendicular bisector, something like this. Wire is of finite length, okay, and point is on its perpendicular bisector, like this, like this. Okay, suppose the current is flowing is I, this total length is L. So basically from here till here it will be L by 2, from here till here it will be L by 2. This angle we have considered phi. When the point is on perpendicular bisector, both the angles will be same. So here it will be phi 1 is equal to phi 2, let it be phi. So when we put sin phi 2, sin phi 1 in place of phi 2 phi, in place of phi 1 phi, will get 2 sin phi. So what will be the magnetic field? Magnetic field will be the B is equal to mu naught upon 4 pi I 2 sin phi. 2 will cut this 4 by 2 times, will get I upon A sin phi. Further, this sin phi can be written as L by 2 upon hypotenuse. Now this distance you have considered as A and this distance is L by 2. What will be this distance? It will be under root L square by 4 plus A square. Just put it away. So B is equal to, we'll get mu naught I upon 2 pi A under root, not under root, it will be L by 2 under root L square by 4 plus A square. Further, this 4 can be taken as common and it will come out. 2 and 2 will be cancelled out. We will get mu naught I upon 2 pi A into L upon under root L square plus 4A square. So this is the value of magnetic field due to finite length of wire, right? Okay. So this is the application of Biot-Savart law, and it is the first application. Tomorrow we'll solve some numericals on the basis of this topic, and then after we'll start the next application, magnetic field due to a circular ring of wire. Okay, and then after at the center and at the axial point. 2 topics we'll do tomorrow and some numericals on the basis of this. Okay, so this is all for the day. Thank you.